The mission is to prepare students to live a full life and to build this community. When I address parents and say, how many of your students are undecided, and half the hands raise up, and it's this, oh, they don't know what they want to do. And I usually smile and say, great, that's our business.
I'm always working with people at a transitional moment in their lives. Their lives are about to change. That's the power of education. I'm working with dreamers, and I encourage them to dream big, that they can move beyond Ozarks and go who knows where around the world. And so that process of discovery, I think, it is key to what we do.
I took a visit just in the middle of spring break, and I felt immediately comfortable because they genuinely had an interest to get to know me. I've learned a lot about myself since I've been here in terms of who I am and who I want to be, and becoming the best Casey that I can be. The university's done a lot to give me the tools to decide for myself.
I knew that Ozarks was special, but I didn't know what kind of transformative power that the campus really had. This is a place where you can be passionate about anything, and you're going to have people who back it up.
I'm a first-generation college student, and what really gave me a head start at Ozarks was having faculty and professors who took a personal interest in my professional development. I was ready to go out and get a job from day one and go do what I've been wanting to do for the last 4 years.
Back home, I live in a city of about 1 million people. So coming to Clarksville that only has about 10,000 people was a change. And at first, it was a culture shock. But I learned that I love it. When you walk around campus, you see people from all around the world and people from very different backgrounds. We all become kind of part of the same family, and that's the community that Ozarks creates.
It was really a teacher who took the time to get to know me that had the impact on my life and changed things, and so I kind of wanted to be able to reciprocate that. Most of the individuals who are teaching on this campus, if not all of them, are here because they have a love for teaching. We want to share our perspectives and our disciplines, share our research, share our understanding of the world, help people be better people, help them figure out who they're going to be, find their place. And that means a tremendous amount to me, to be able to do that. I don't know that that's something that you could do in a place that's not here.
Everybody deserves this level of individualized education. How do we do it? One is we have great faculty and staff, but also it's in the water. It's in the ethos of the campus, and it's these people who believe in humanity, who believe in the future, and something about our journeys in life brought us all together to change people's lives. The mission is to prepare students to live a full life and to build this community. When I address parents and say, how many of your students are undecided, and half the hands raise up, and it's this, oh, they don't know what they want to do. And I usually smile and say, great, that's our business.
I'm always working with people at a transitional moment in their lives. Their lives are about to change. That's the power of education. I'm working with dreamers, and I encourage them to dream big, that they can move beyond Ozarks and go who knows where around the world. And so that process of discovery, I think, it is key to what we do.
I took a visit just in the middle of spring break, and I felt immediately comfortable because they genuinely had an interest to get to know me. I've learned a lot about myself since I've been here in terms of who I am and who I want to be, and becoming the best Casey that I can be. The university's done a lot to give me the tools to decide for myself.
I knew that Ozarks was special, but I didn't know what kind of transformative power that the campus really had. This is a place where you can be passionate about anything, and you're going to have people who back it up.
I'm a first-generation college student, and what really gave me a head start at Ozarks was having faculty and professors who took a personal interest in my professional development. I was ready to go out and get a job from day one and go do what I've been wanting to do for the last 4 years.
Back home, I live in a city of about 1 million people. So coming to Clarksville that only has about 10,000 people was a change. And at first, it was a culture shock. But I learned that I love it. When you walk around campus, you see people from all around the world and people from very different backgrounds. We all become kind of part of the same family, and that's the community that Ozarks creates.
It was really a teacher who took the time to get to know me that had the impact on my life and changed things, and so I kind of wanted to be able to reciprocate that. Most of the individuals who are teaching on this campus, if not all of them, are here because they have a love for teaching. We want to share our perspectives and our disciplines, share our research, share our understanding of the world, help people be better people, help them figure out who they're going to be, find their place. And that means a tremendous amount to me. To be able to do that, I don't know that that's something that you could do in a place that's not here.
Everybody deserves this level of individualized education. How do we do it? One is we have great faculty and staff, but also it's in the water. It's in the ethos of the campus, and it's these people who believe in humanity, who believe in the future, and something about our journeys in life brought us all together to change people's lives.
Will you join me in prayer? Holy and gracious God, we remember this is the day, especially days like today. This is the day that you have made, so we rejoice and are glad in it. We are especially glad because this is the day that we celebrate our graduates. After years of stress, hard work, late nights, seasons of questioning and doubts, seasons of hardships and setbacks, we can let all that go and celebrate. This is the day, and it is a good one, and we give you thanks. Lord, though the journey wasn't always easy, these years have also provided much to rejoice. The friends that have been made for life, new places that we've been able to visit, the moments of confidence when the grades turned out better than expected, the good conversations with our professors, the stories we will be able to share, and the memories that will stay with us forever. This is the day, and it is a good one, and we give you thanks. Lord, let this day of celebration add to those stories and memories that we will carry with us. May your Spirit be with us as we take in all that this day will bring. Use this day of celebration as a catalyst for more good days ahead, which our graduates, wherever they may go from here, will be called and empowered to help others have more opportunities to celebrate and rejoice. May we always work towards rejoicing, for your goodness is unending. This we pray in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Reverend Wilhelm. Let us also express our appreciation to Dr. Matthew Boombach, Assistant Professor of Music, for conducting the University Choir throughout this ceremony. Thank you, Matthew. Good morning. This is a great day for the University of the Ozarks and for all of you assembled. On behalf of the University of the Ozarks, I welcome you. Welcome parents, relatives, friends, faculty, staff, members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, and most of all, those of you receiving diplomas here in a few moments. Graduates, the entire Ozarks family shares in your happiness today, knowing you have successfully achieved one of the most rewarding goals of a lifetime. As we discussed earlier this week, you're joining less than 40% of the United States population and less than 8% of the world's population, those who have a bachelor's degree. Today, in a few moments, even maybe more important to us, is that you'll be earning it from the University of the Ozarks. I ask that each of you take a few moments to reflect upon some promises we've made along the way. Some of you made those promises maybe sitting in one of these pews. Some of you made those promises maybe every semester when you started a new class and saw a new faculty member. I'm going to remind you of the promises you made. You promised that your integrity as a student consisted not only of following the rules, but of a love and a commitment for learning. You promised to take personal responsibility for your education. You promised to take initiative to figure out what you didn't understand and to formulate ideas and questions about information shared. You promised to listen with care and respect for your teachers and your peers. And you promised to share your very best work with us and to represent others' views and ideas fairly along the way. In return, we made some promises to y'all, right? We promised to empower you as students We promise to share in your journey. We promise to encourage and support you. We promise to offer guidance and to treat you with fairness and honesty. And we promise to role model the highest of personal integrity. Today marks the fulfillment of the promises we made to each other. Congratulations to you all. We applaud you for your dedication, your persistence, and the passion to achieve your goals. And you should be proud. I know you've worked hard, sacrificed a great deal during the past few semesters or years to reach this point in your life. But as we know many of your stories, and as I look around the chapel today, I know there are others here who have worked hard and sacrificed too for you to be here today. And now is the most appropriate time for us to recognize those individuals. Will the parents of our graduates please rise and remain standing? Congratulations, parents. Will the grandparents of our graduates please rise? Will the spouses, partners, children, and other friends of our graduates please rise? Graduates, let me invite you to stand, turn to your family and friends, and appreciate them with your applause. Please be seated. Before I invite the faculty, staff, and members of our Board of Trustees to stand and be recognized, I'd like for you to consider a couple of things. Consider the trials and tribulations over the last 3.5 to 7.5 years. I think that's the window for today's graduates. Think about the trials and tribulations during your college experience. When you needed advice, when you needed counsel or support, who on the faculty or staff did you turn to? When due to the pandemic, we were forced to completely reimagine the delivery of an Ozarks education, the men and the women to your left, my left, your right, worked tirelessly to deliver on the promises made. Without the commitment, dedication, and resilience of the faculty and staff and the University of the Ozarks Board of Trustees, we wouldn't be here today. We just wouldn't. Faculty, staff, and trustees, would you please rise? Graduates, I would ask you to rise, extend an appreciation to these professionals. Thank you. You may be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the first of our speakers, Miss Andrea Macario Bourbon, an elementary education major from Guatemala City, Guatemala, has been chosen by the faculty to provide the students' welcome address on behalf of the fall class of 2022. Since arriving at Ozarks, Andrea has excelled in the classroom while also being a campus leader. She is graduating today with the highest of academic honors, summa cum laude. She is a member of the university's Pat Walker Teacher Education Program. She served as president of the Ozarks Student Education Association and was a founder of the Lionheart Ministries, a non-denominational campus organization that promotes inclusion and service. Whether serving on the President's Advisory Council, assisting her classmates as a volunteer, a tutor with the community, supporting her classmates as a tutor, volunteering with the community food pantry, or completing her teaching internship here at Clarksville Primary School, Andrea consistently exemplifies many of the Christian values of the university, including service, honesty, hospitality, and justice. It is my pleasure to present from the class of the fall 2022, Miss Andrea Macario Burke.
Good morning. There is no doubt that we are here to celebrate the fall class of 2022. However, I strongly believe that everyone in this room and those who are watching from home deserve to be celebrated as well. You are the one who helped us get this far. Thank you for all the effort, all the support, and especially all the love you gave each one of us. I would like to thank everyone who loved us at our worst, everyone who loved us at our best, and everyone who loved us anywhere else in between. It is because of you that we're here today. I would also like to thank faculty and staff for trusting me enough to represent my class. That was a risky move on your end, but we'll see how this goes. My dad once told me that the most important legacy you can have is your story. As your most valuable treasure, you shouldn't keep it to yourself. Your legacy is meant to be shared. I have always struggled with this idea, but today I have decided to listen to him. So here it is. This is my story. Little Andrea, as some of my close friends and family call me, comes from a small neighborhood in Guatemala City. I did not grow up with the best living conditions, but if there are some things Guatemalan people are really good at, is staying positive to any situation and dreaming big. This little girl standing in front of you is an example of it. Coming from a family in which both of my parents did not go to school has helped me understand how lucky and blessed I am to be standing here today and finishing my college career. Indeed, you all are really blessed and lucky to be here today and finishing this chapter in your life. If you want to get to know me a little bit better, there is one thing you need to know, according to my mom and dad, and that is how stubborn I am. Just like any other person, I like to get my way. But I don't think stubborn is the right word they need to use to describe me. I like to think I'm persistent. I try, and I try, and I try, until I accomplish what my heart thinks is right. And that is one of the reasons I ended up in this place called Ozarks. I graduated from high school in 2017, not knowing if I will ever be able to attend college. So I decided to apply through this program called the Walton Scholarship. I applied for the first time in 2016. Keep in mind, I was a junior in high school and I did not speak any English back then. And yet, I decided to apply. That is how cool I thought I was. In case you're wondering, no, I did not get into the program. So I decided to apply one more time in 2017. But I was not quite ready yet, and I did not get the scholarship. Then, I applied one last time in 2018. Before I even finished the process, I received an email from Dr. William Clary, former director of the Walton Scholarship Program. He asked if I was willing to come in January since there was a spot available and that he thought I was the right fit for Ozarks. Without thinking about it twice, I knew that was the opportunity I had been waiting for. Dr. William Clary, thank you for seeing in me something that to this day I'm not capable of seeing. I wouldn't be here if it weren't because of you. I came in the spring of 2019 with a bag full of dreams and a heart full of hope. I moved 2,151 miles away from home to accomplish one of my biggest goals. That is, to become the best teacher ever to live. So I could go back to Guatemala and inspire more people to make their dreams come true, to help them understand that there is so much out there for them, and to show them that it is possible. Now that you know how I got here, let me tell you how my time at Ozarks was. If you ever spend time with Mrs. Smith, you probably know that everything she does and everything she says is for a reason. She teaches you a lesson every single time you talk to her. I'm not as awesome as she is, but let me try to be like her for just a second. So please bear with me as I try to explain what college is like. I would like to compare our college experience with this Rubik's Cube. Each color represents a different area of our life. Each one of the pieces, a person that has touched our life, or every single situation we have gone through. We might think that our goal during college is to make the right moves, just so each one of the pieces fall into the right place, just for the cube to be solved by the time we graduate. While working on it, let me tell you something that I learned in the past 4 years. As we go through college, we often hear the phrases, you will get a job, you will find love, things take time, everything will be just fine, and so on. Even though all of that is true, let's look at it from a different perspective, from a more realistic point of view. There are 43 quintillion ways to rearrange the Rubik's Cube I just showed you. Out of all of those combinations, there is only that people consider is the right one for it to be solved. Some people can solve the cube in a few seconds. Some others might be able to solve it within a few minutes. And some others, like me, have never been able to solve one. But maybe, and just maybe, after all these years, college was never meant for you to spend all of your time trying to solve your Rubik's Cube. And maybe, and just maybe, I do not want my Rubik's Cube to be solved. I have explored different combinations, and I have yet many more to explore. And hopefully, as I compare this cube not only with my college career, but with my life, you can realize that the centerpieces will remain the same, meaning that your core values and your essence will never change. Hopefully, you have discovered that you are the one who has the power to move the pieces around. You are the one who decides which face of the cube you want to look at. And you are the one who decides when and how to arrange it and rearrange it. And trust me, you will know when. I hope that by now you know where I'm going with this, and I hope that you understand that your Rubik's Cube doesn't look like the person next to you. And it never will, because we're always changing and evolving. That you cannot compare yourself to other people because at this moment in time, your cube has the combination it needs to have. And all of your pieces are where they need to be. My time at Ozarks went by so fast, just like most people told me it would. Whether or not we like it, the truth is that everything eventually comes to an end. And as much as I looked forward to this day, I have always disliked endings. So I don't want to leave this place without making sure you know how grateful I am to be here today, and how grateful I am for each and every one of you. God blessed me big time by putting people like you in my path. I want to thank all my professors, all my friends, my family by choice, for helping me not only forget who I thought I was, but patiently help me discover not only who I actually am, but who I could become. With that being said, this celebration goes to the ones who left, to the ones who couldn't make it, to the ones who stayed, and to the ones who will remain by my side. Class of 2022, we did it. And I would like to leave you today with a quote from one of my favorite children's books called All the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off of great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the one who will decide where to go. Thank you.
Andrea, the keynote speaker just whispered to me that's a tough act to follow. So you put a little pressure on Mr. Armstrong. I'm honored to present today's commencement keynote speaker, who's also an alumnus of University of the Ozarks, Mr. Rick Armstrong. A native of Pottsville, Arkansas, Mr. Armstrong is a 2000 Ozarks graduate with majors in marketing and art, who also competed in cross country. From Fortune 100 companies to startups, Mr. Armstrong's nearly 20-year marketing career spans across games, mobile, and immersive technologies. He currently serves as a director of product marketing at Tangle, a Seattle tech startup founded by game experts who are building a virtual collaboration platform that brings joy to remote work culture. Mr. Armstrong is an avid adventurer who believes travel is life's best teacher. Mr. Armstrong is joined today by his wife, Laura. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rick Armstrong.
To get the boost. Good morning. It's an absolute honor being back at my alma mater speaking to you today. And it's an institution that still holds dear to my heart, where I spent 5 amazing years. First, I want to congratulate all of you on your monumental achievement today. I would like to also thank the faculty and staff, along with Dr. Rich Dunsworth and Mr. Brian Henderson, for giving me the opportunity to share my journey with you today. And above all else, I want to thank my wife, my family, and friends who have always been with me every step of the way. It's been nearly 20 years since entering those hallowed chapel doors, and this morning a flood of memories just came pouring back. Memories like playing ping pong all hours of the night in McLean Hall with my best friend and roomie, who happens to be sitting over here today. Training with my cross-country team, a bunch of spastic eagles just running throughout the Ozarks foothills. And seeing boulder-sized bubbles float past the late Miss Helen Robson Walton, who just giggled at the time when someone sudded the fountain. And that wasn't me, by the way. I think I know who did it, though. But nothing stands out more than the advice that I received from a few familiar faces who helped lay the foundation of my road. I was a quiet art major at the time, and my advisor, Mr. Blaine Caldwell, who has since retired, realized that marketing was also right up my alley. So he helped guide me to my mentor, Mr. Robert Wofford, or Woff, as a few of us affectionately called him. And Woff was always there to help. Deciding to double major my junior year, there were a few classes that had scheduling overlaps. And that summer, Woff arranged for me to take one of his master's level stats class that he taught in Fort Smith as part of my undergrad. And I carpooled with him once a week, aced the class, and stayed on track, and I was forever grateful. But nothing stands out more than the words that Dr. David Strain gave me my freshman year. Back then, Strain was feared. Not for being uncaring, mind you. He just had an unbelievably high bar that he expected from his students. And after making a perfect score on a Comp 2 paper, which I thought had to have been a mistake, that's absolutely impossible, I remember that one simple bit of advice that he gave me: "You have a gift, my boy, use it." And Dr. Strain, I did, and thank you. I use that storytelling gift every day in my job that revolves around developing narratives, whether it's creating a multi-million-dollar marketing plan, leading a high-stakes product launch on stage in Amsterdam, or giving art direction to world-class games designers. But before I begin my journey, my story, as a marketer, I like to know my audience. As Dr. Dunsworth had mentioned earlier, I'm from Pottsville. I'd just like to know a show of hands. Who in here knows of Pottsville, Arkansas? Just raise them up. I am not alone. Okay. Many more than I thought. That's awesome. Who's from Pottsville? By chance? I think my sister and I are the only ones. Awesome. That's to be expected. So, well, you guessed it, my journey began 30 minutes down the road in Pottsville, Arkansas. Raised in a working-class family, my sister and I were fortunate that we never had to worry about food on the table, clothes on our backs, or a roof over our heads because of two very caring parents. But believe me, nothing was handed to us. So how did I get from that tiny farming community that I still love to this day, to Little Rock, then on to San Francisco, next Seattle, and then standing before you today? It all started when I was 8, after I looked up at my parents and said, I don't belong here. They knew then that I had big dreams, and they did everything possible to give me the opportunity to forge my own path, starting with the day that I toured this very campus. When I toured, when I toured Ozarks, I received a shirt that had a quote from the Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken. And it read, 2 roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And that quote stuck with me throughout life whenever I faced a crossroads. Should I take the easier paths that most follow, or should I take a calculated risk and see what's down the paths that are less traveled? Harder? Yes. Uncertain? Definitely. Scary? Sometimes. But the less traveled roads did, in fact, make all the difference. So now, I want to use that storytelling gift to pass on 3 lessons to you, plus a bonus. Lessons that I hope inspire you to embark on the less traveled roads. And your first lesson is sisu. One of my closest friends taught me his Finnish term that embodies his national character. By definition, sisu is a stoic determination, a grit, bravery, resilience, a hardiness all wrapped up into one. Quite simply, sisu just means guts. And here's a perfect example that embodies having sisu. My first small country mouse in the big city feeling happened after I'd moved 2,000 miles west to San Francisco, where I hardly knew a soul. I lay wide awake in my first studio apartment surrounded by boxes. A bit scared, and I have self-doubt running through my head, wondering, had I made the right decision taking that less traveled path? But that's not what was keeping me up. There was a faint, repeating hum that kept sounding in the distance, and it was then that I realized, wait a minute, those are the foghorns in Golden Gate. And it hit me. I'm now living in San Francisco, one of the most culturally rich, diverse cities in the world, and that this experience was going to change my life forever. So a smile grew on my face as I fell fast asleep, soothed by the rhythmic low hum of those iconic horns. A sound that would rock me to sleep for over a decade, in a city where I eventually formed some of my closest friendships and met my life and kindred spirit. So always have guts. Sisu. Lesson number 2. Travel cleanses the soul. Coming from very humble beginnings, I didn't have the luxury of travel. But my grandfather, an retired Army lieutenant colonel, had been sent all across the states and all over the world, instilled a fascination for travel that just initially lay dormant. Ozarks gave me my first true taste of culture when I befriended friends from Central America and Mexico that started to awaken the curiosity. My marketing career then ignited the passion, starting with domestic trips and then evolving to international treks. Now I take pride in saying that I've been to over 30 countries with one goal, to have as many stamps on my passport before my road comes to an end. But why do I encourage travel so much, you may wonder? If I hadn't taken those less traveled roads to foreign places, I would have never experienced life-changing moments such as melting in a hot sauna and then jumping into the freezing Baltic Sea in Helsinki, Finland. Night diving through bioluminescence known as the String of Pearls in Roatan, Honduras. choking back tears listening to a live performance of Pachelbel and Vivaldi in St. George's Basilica in Prague, Czech Republic. Watching the sunrise over the outer Great Barrier Reef while at sea in Australia. Staring face to face with one of my favorite paintings, a painting that I studied while I was here on campus, Edvard Munch's The Scream, while in Oslo, Norway. Partaking in the kava ritual with Fijian locals on the island of Tabauni. Seeing colors I never knew existed while scuba diving in Indonesia. And watching the Phantom of the Opera performed in Danish while in Copenhagen. But most importantly, falling in love with my wife during our very first trip together, exploring the Buddhist temples of Bangkok, Thailand. So the reason I encourage travel is simple. There's so much to see beyond the borders of this state as well as this great nation. To quote Helen Keller, life is a daring adventure or nothing. Interacting with different cultures broadens the mind, and it makes you a much more well-rounded individual. You learn from others and they learn from you. You get a taste for how the rest of the world lives, and you become more empathetic to those less fortunate. Travel helps erase prejudice and hate because you see the world through a different lens, and you realize that regardless of color, age, gender, sexual orientation, we're all the same. We're all human. Travel cleanses the soul. Lesson number 3. Work smarter and hard. Now, you may have heard a different phrase, which is work smarter, not harder. That's a concept that I challenge. Work smarter, yes, by all means, because it's strategic it's critical for strategic thinking. And you work smarter by constantly learning several disciplines so you don't become a subject matter expert in just one area. You work smarter by networking. It takes time, but it pays off. The bulk of my most recent positions have all come from a trusted connection. And you also work smarter by realizing that perception is everything. Names matter, and there are times when having a pedigree on your resume, such as the world's largest cloud provider, does hold weight. So work smarter, but I can't stress enough the and hard part. And that leads me to your bonus round. See the hill and take the hill. So my father, who passed away in April, cemented this lesson into my mind. A former combat Marine and Purple Heart recipient, he endured 13 months of hell in the jungles of Vietnam. And anytime I face a challenge, the first thing I would hear is, see the hill, take the hill, son. So those words would echo through my head when summiting Half Dome in Yosemite National Park, or climbing up 10,000 feet to Mount Rainier Base Camp. But that advice wasn't just meant for mental fortitude and physical toughness. While at Ozarks, I didn't have a free ride. I had partial scholarships, loans, money put away from summers working at McDonald's, a little bit of grant, and work study. Let's not forget about the infamous work study. And every month I would walk up to our registrar at the time, Ms. Dawn Dvorak, and she would hand me my hard-earned work study check from cleaning the art studio and the gymnasium floors. I would sign it and I would hand it right back to her. Why? Because every penny I made went to the prize awaiting me at the top of the hill, a college degree. Had I not worked hard, I wouldn't have been able to take that hill, which paved the way for more roads like going on to earn my MBA, working at some of the biggest tech companies in the world, or seeing my most proudest achievement come to fruition, content that I created featured on Bloomberg TV the day that Unity went public. So to wrap things up, I truly hope my story does make an impact. Regardless if you plan to stay close by, explore just a tad, or you're constantly throwing darts at a map to pinpoint your next travel destination. Always remember this. Sisu. Travel cleanses the soul, and work smarter and hard. And wherever the road takes you, no matter if it's the traveled or the less traveled roads, never forget where you came from, and know that Ozarks and its lessons will always be with you. I'll leave you with one last quote from the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, which is my father's unit. Their motto was simple: second to none. May you all be second to none. And congratulations on your tremendous accomplishment today. Now, go forth and don't forget that bonus lesson. See your own hills and take those hills. Godspeed on the roads that lay ahead of you. Thank you and happy holidays.
Class of Fall 2022, will you please rise? President Dunsworth, on behalf of the faculty and staff of the University of the Ozarks, I'm privileged to present to you the members of the class of Fall 2022 who have fulfilled all the requirements necessary for graduation.
Dr. Elwell, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the University of the Ozarks Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon this December class of 2022 the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of General Studies with all the rights, honors, privileges thereunto attached. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Caleb Anthony Ballard, BB, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Samantha Lynn Burke, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education, Berryville, Arkansas. Joel Thomas Coppernoll, Bryan, Texas, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, magna cum laude. Matthew John Coleman, Gardner, Kansas, Bachelor of Arts, Communication Studies. Chandler Alexander Crouch, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Bachelor of Science, Sociology. Nicholas Patrick Freeling, Bentonville, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Zueni Garcia, Clarksville, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education, cum laude. Truman Joseph Hensley, Edmond, Oklahoma, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education and Health Science, cum laude. Garrett Stephen Hollowell, Clarksville, Arkansas, Bachelor of Arts, Communication Studies. William Bronny Tinker Kinser, Powell, Oak, Missouri, Bachelor of Science, Physical Education. Benjamin Joseph Lilligore, Granbury, Texas, Bachelor of Science, Environmental Studies, cum laude. Kiplin Iva Phillips Slindermuth, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Psychology. Andrea Sarai Macario Berben, Guatemala City, Guatemala, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education, summa cum laude. Jayla Lee Martin, Star City, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Health Science. John Stephen Ivester, Little Rock, Arkansas, Bachelor of Arts, History. Miri Mazil, Kai Ati, Bachelor of Science, Health Science, cum laude. Mindy Drew Alexandra Melton, Oolaga, Oklahoma, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, cum laude. Ty Benjamin Neal Neubauer, Wichita Falls, Texas, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration. Faith Victoria Marilyn Hope, San Diego, California, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry. Madison Nicole Powers, Eunice, New Mexico, Bachelor of Science, Biology, magna cum laude. Charles Scott Priddy, Louisville, Kentucky, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration. Kayla Michelle Renfro, Clarksville, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Reagan Nicole Richmond, Dover, Arkansas, Bachelor of Arts, Music, summa cum laude. Cassidy Raven Stephanie Raw, South Andros, the Bahamas, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, summa cum laude. Jamal Herman Roll, Nassau, the Bahamas, Bachelor of Science, Biology, cum laude. Cody Marie Sparks, Lamar, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Health Science, magna cum laude. Kaylee Lynn Willis, Oark, Arkansas, Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education. Tori Lynn Woods, Chicago, Illinois, Bachelor of Science, Health Science. Alexis Renee Young, Moore, Oklahoma, Bachelor of Science, Biology.
Graduates, would you please rise? Before now, we were students. Now, we're alumni for life of the University of the Ozarks, joining the ranks of more than 8,000 proud Ozarks alumni around the world. Let us signify our graduation with the ceremonial gesture of moving our tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations, class of fall 2022. Everyone please rise for the singing of the alma mater.
A reception will be held immediately following the ceremony in the Rogers Conference Center. All are welcome to attend. And now, graduates, a good word. It was a friend of mine, David Lamott, who said, "It's not naive to think you can change the world." He said, "It's naive to think that you can possibly be in the world and not change it. Everything you do changes the world, whether you like it or not. So the question really is, what kind of changes are you going to make?" So if that is true, as you go from this place, graduates, may God guide you to change the world by choosing kindness, by choosing neighborliness. May God guide you to change the world with compassion and generosity. May God guide you to change the world with courage and strength, hope and perseverance, love and grace. And of course, may God guide you to change the world by continuing to grow, being honest, showing hospitality to all, working for justice, serving all who may be in need, and taking care of yourself by embracing Sabbath. Go from here not being naive. Go from here and change the world, and may God guide you every step of the way. Congratulations and amen.